If World War III happens, it will not start in Washington, and it will not start in Moscow. It will start right here, in a tiny strip of farmland that most people have never heard of. This is the Suwalki Gap, a 60-mile stretch of border between Poland and Lithuania. Military experts call it the most dangerous place on Earth. And for the first time in history, the warning lights are flashing red. Here is why this specific location is a nightmare for NATO. Look at the map. To the northwest sits Kaliningrad. This is not just a Russian city. It is a fortress. It is the headquarters of the Russian Baltic Fleet and one of the most heavily militarized zones on the planet. To the southeast is Belarus, a country that now hosts Russian troops and tactical weapons. Separating these two giants is the Suwalki Gap. It is the only land route connecting Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania to the rest of their NATO allies. It is the choke point, and it is the perfect trap. In a theoretical invasion scenario, Russian commanders would not need to conquer all of Europe. They would only need to close this gap. The strategy is known as a Pincer Movement. Armored columns push south from Kaliningrad. Belarusian forces push north from the border. Wargame simulations show that they could meet in the middle in less than 48 hours. If they succeed, the trap is snapped shut. The three Baltic states would be completely cut off from NATO reinforcements by land. No tanks, no ammunition, no fuel could reach them. They would become isolated islands in a Russian sea, forced to surrender or face total destruction. But tanks are not the only threat. Just 60 miles north, inside Kaliningrad, Russia has deployed the Iskander-M missile system. These are mobile launchers capable of firing nuclear warheads into Warsaw, Berlin, or Stockholm within minutes. This turns the Suwalki Gap from a simple battlefield into a nuclear hostage situation. NATO commanders know that if they send massive armies to retake the gap, they aren't just fighting soldiers. They are risking a tactical nuclear exchange that could end civilization. Even without nukes, the ground itself is against the defenders. The terrain here is a nightmare. It is a maze of thick forests, lakes, and soft swamps. Heavy American Abrams tanks would struggle to maneuver here, getting stuck in the mud. Meanwhile, lighter Russian infantry and armor could use the dense tree cover to ambush NATO convoys. NATO calls its troops stationed here a tripwire force. The cold reality is that these soldiers are not expected to win. Their job is to fight and die, simply to trigger Article 5 and bring the full force of the United States into the war. For 30 years, this border was quiet. But today, satellite images show military buildup on both sides. The gap is closing, and if the tanks start rolling across these fields, the world as we know it changes overnight. This is Warzone TV. Subscribe to see the maps that reveal the future.